Yerp, what's that, my people? So, back with another episode of Lovecraft Country. This is episode 9, uh, Rewind 1921. And I'm late with this because of Hurricane Delta and stuff. Man, I've been from house to house and stuff, haven't been able to do whatever. Oh man, electricity is down many places. Back to the crib, no electricity and stuff, man. It's just bad. So I'm late with this episode. This is Monday night. I'm doing this. Usually I try to do this ASAP, but this is as soon as I could do it. So man, y'all bear with me. I'm pretty sure a lot of people that watch other videos or something are probably not even gonna watch this one. But for my returning subscribers and ones that want to watch my point of view and stuff, appreciate y'all. And this one right here, I got a freestyle because usually I write my notes on my phone and I read and make sure everything lined up and stuff. I'm doing this video on the phone, so no notes for me to go off of. But this episode right here, this is a dope one right here. This, I always said episode 6 was my favorite one. Whenever they was in Vietnam and everything, I think this one has passed that one. I think this one has surpassed it. Man, so it starts off, we back, Diane is sick. They must try to save her. And so how are they gonna do that? They're gonna need magic. Magic is going to be the key to this. But the officer that did the curse to her, he's the only one that could kind of undo it. But the thing about that is he died in the last episode. Tick had his monster and everything. So that that was the thing. So, man, it turns out they have to, her closest blood relative is the one that can use some blood and whatever and be able to save her. The thing about that is Hippolyta is nowhere to be found. So the next closest blood relative would be Montrose. But if they get this wrong, it could kill her. And the thing about that is he isn't the closest blood relative. So he finally comes out with it. He tells Tick, George might be your father. Man, so Atticus has been through hell and back in this series, and he is thinking like, everything I put up with, at the end of the day, I still was like, you were my father. I'm taking this from my father. And at the end of the day, I'm mad at my mother and George, but I wanted George to be my father. And now you telling me that he probably actually was. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing to do with you at all. So that is something that in the beginning of the episode that we see, and it was an elephant in the room the whole season. But how can they still save this child? They need to call Christina. I think I already jumped ahead because that's how they got the information, was from Christina. And in exchange for her help, what they had to do, Atticus must willingly come with her to the beginning, in the equinox, and whatever. She will try to kill him. She will try to kill him. She's going to sacrifice the brother, just like the father tried to. So the season finale will be interesting. But Hippolyta does come. She shows up and, whoa, Hippolyta is back. She has information. All the things that she went through, she still retains that. She been going 200 years in her time, so she lived life and she has information. So she's like, what we're gonna do, we're going to get the Book of Names. Book of Names burned up in a fire. Nobody has the Book of Names. But the thing is, it still exists in the past. She has access to the time machine. She knows how to work it. She still has the things on her wrist. So the things on her wrist will allow her to access it. But it's broke. She can fix it. She can do a lot of stuff. Hippolytus live lives. She's very intelligent now. She's a warrior, I guess an engineer, a scientist, everything. A nude dancer. But before we get to that, Letty and Ruby have a talk about Christina. You can't trust her. But it's like, you need to be running with her. She the one that saved your life. She gave you immunity or whatever. You were impervious to whatever. She the one did that. Atticus is bringing you towards death all the time. So who you gonna trust? Who you gonna trust? But the thing about it, they get back to the honeycomb hideout. They get back in whatever. And Ruby is running around with Christine, and she sees this lady that's on a gurney or whatever, and she's like, what you doing with her? This and that. Your sister hit her in the head with a shovel or whatever. I always wanted to be a redhead. Like at the end of the day, she's still selfish. She's still thinking about herself, and she's like, I'll help you. Tick can die. Fuck Tick. Like damn. And your sister is pregnant with her, with her child from him. That's the baby daddy. But you like, he can die. Christine, get your immortality. Like Ruby ain't shit. Ruby ain't shit. She always tries to put it on Letty. Like Letty has the worst track record, or Letty is so bad, but Ruby just as bad. They end up getting back to the place, and Montrose is going through it. Like he's getting drunk. Tick has told him this information, like, you're not my father, I'm done with you and stuff. Then they have to go back to 1921, the Tulsa Massacre, Black Wall Street. And it's like, damn, I gotta go back to this. But we kind of see why he is messed up. We get back to that point in time, and if you know about this, or if you don't know about it, you can look this information up. This is real historical facts. And I love how they do that in Lovecraft Country. Like the last episode was Emmett Till. This episode, the Black Wall Street, the Tulsa Massacre and stuff. Like they have historical stuff that people try to wash under the table, but they are still bringing that to the audience. So I really love how they doing that. And the thing, they go back into this time, and he is like, oh my God, he's not there. He's in shock, man. This PTSD. But he's remembering all these things that happened. And they see his father beating him because he had put on George's suit and he was prancing around with the corsage in his hair and stuff. He like, ain't none of my sons ain't gonna be like this and stuff, bah, 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 and whipping on him. And we see Atticus's mother, she goes and saves him and stuff. And so it was a clique of three. Like it was George, her, and her and Montrose. Like they was the three musketeers, whatever. And she went to save him. And he looked like he was about to strike her down too. But her father was like, you can chastise your child, but you ain't gonna touch mine. Like, so and then she is like, why didn't you do anything, George? So George looks like he would stand by and let things happen. But Montrose clears that up. He was like, George always was my protector. He helped me more than anybody else. And we see when Montrose is looking at this and he's reliving these memories, and George is seeing this as well. So he's like, damn, I went through the same thing, but I kind of can see why the cycle. And then Montrose, he's so hurt, and he's like, I deserve this. Nobody deserved it. But he's thinking my father was being a father, and my actions they weren't manly. So it's a bunch of stuff. So Montrose ends up ducking off. He ends up going, they have to go stop him. Because if anything changes, the timeline of history or whatever, it will mess everything up. People might not exist as the butterfly effect thing. Man. So Letty, she has to go, everybody burnt up in the house. And that's where the Book of Names was. The Book of Names burnt up in the crib. She has to find the place, infiltrate it, get the Book of Names, and allow everybody to die. So that is a tough thing that she's going to have to do. She has to ingratiate herself with these people and everything from the past and can't save them. So she's getting chased down the block. Atticus' mother's father saves her and stuff. No, Tick grandfather saves him. And so they take her into the house, and she is held up with them. Meanwhile, Tick has to go after Montrose, but he won't change the future. Will change the past, which will change the future. And the thing about that is what he's trying to stop. He's not trying to stop George from getting shot or anything like that. He had a friend. He suppressed those memories. That was his last like soft memory. It made him a hard person because he was a soft, gentle soul to a certain extent. But that was his last gentle memory that he put out that changed him forever. And it was his boyfriend, pretty much. And he told him we couldn't be together and you a faggot and this and that. And that was the last thing that he told him. And then people showed up and they were so scared that they was holding hands in front of the mob. And they killed him right in front of Montrose. And so that is something that Montrose it always stuck with him and it ate him up. And that was hard to watch. That was hard to watch. And then there was always a tale that Montrose would talk about. He would talk about this occurrence in Tulsa. And that's what it was. It was like, I never told anybody the whole story about how we were holding hands and this and that. But there was always a stranger in the story that would come and save them. Well, George came first, and George was fighting the mob. And so it's like George actually was somebody that helped him. Like in his direst time, he showed up. So they waiting on this stranger to show up. And who is this stranger? Nobody is coming. Tick looks down, there's a bat. So he's the stranger. And he comes, tear their ass up. Left and right, left and right, left and right. So he tear their ass up. And so he's the one that saves them. Then we get back to Letty and them. Letty is looking for the book. The people are like, what are you doing up in here? Something that ain't right. I ain't never seen nobody with them shoes. She's looking for the Book of Names, and she has to be real. Look, I'm from the future. We have to get this book. Homegirl puts 2 and 2 together. We don't survive now, huh? No, and you can't survive. Because if you survive, your grandchild will not be born, etc. She's like, I can't just sit back and allow this to happen and allow everybody to die. But it's just looking bad. And eventually, she gives her the Book of Names, and she's like, okay. And that is a touching moment. Letty gets the book, and homegirl burns up in front of her. They are holding hands, and she's looking at her. And she's burning in front of her face. And it is the saddest thing in the world. It is so sad. Then they get back, after Tick saves them and stuff, they get back to the portal. Nobody to be seen. Letty is not around. Tick jumps through the portal. Oh, something seems wrong with the portal. Oh my God. Hippolyta, she's struggling. She's holding on for dear life to hold this portal together. Her hair, she starts turning Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct, and everything. So we go back. We see Montrose. And so Montrose is still there. He's looking at this and just remembering everything that happened. And it's crazy. It's crazy for you to see this. And they did that on Watchmen as well. So I love how they showed the history of this event. And this is coming to light. But eventually, Leticia, she does get through, but she's just walking. She's just walking with the book slowly. She's slowly walking with the book, man, while the portal is closing and stuff. Like, you have a finite amount of time. You have to book it. Like, she should have ran, but she been through a traumatic experience, so I guess I understand. So they dropping the bombs, she walking through the fire like Shaka Khan, but they end up, Tick ends up helping the Hippolyta. The portal opens, they all jump through the portal, so they now can save Diane. They have the Book of Names, and the Book of Names, it can allow them to do spells and stuff. It might save them for the season finale. And the season finale looks, like I say, episode 6, and this episode has been my favorite episode so far. I know for a fact, without even watching it, the season finale will be my favorite episode of Lovecraft Country. This was phenomenal. Everybody, salute them. And whenever we see something I didn't mention earlier, whenever Montrose was thinking about saving that child, about this memory that he had suppressed, him and Atticus had a touching moment. That was the best moment of the show. When he was like, it won't change the future. Like, if I save this child, my future probably won't be changed because I wanted to be a father. Like, even though I know George might have been your father and stuff, but I sacrificed everything. I sacrificed all that, all of my soft feelings and my love for this one and that one. I wanted nothing more than to be your father. And like, even Tick is moved to tears, and he's like, you know, he got an ugly cry and stuff. But that was my favorite moment of this episode. And yeah, the season finale seemed like it will be the one. And I'm not in the crib. I don't want to make too much noise and stuff. It's kind of late. Hopefully I'll be back in the studio next episode. Have electricity and stuff, man. Just these hurricanes have been stressful. But like, comment, subscribe. Go be the greatest and the most hated, man. My returners, I appreciate y'all, man. Sorry I'm not too animated because it's late. People got to get up and go to work and stuff. I don't want to be a disturbance, but just had to do this. Peace.